Hey everybody, my name is Garrett and I'm here hosting this week's episode of City Council Recap, the show where we sit and we as a community discuss the events that occur at Monrovia City Council meetings together. I'm joined by Jason.
Hello.
Yep. And tonight, let me run that back.
Tonight we're recounting the meeting from Tuesday, February 17th.
Yeah.
Yes.
We discussed many things in this one, and we first started with our Pledge of Allegiance, which was performed by Sergio Jimenez, and then invocation was led by Police Chaplain Steve Martinez, and the roll call for everyone at that particular council meeting was full. Everyone was there, all members of staff were there, and all council members was there. I'm going to be calling out a time when I start discussing these, and this time refers to a timestamp to the YouTube live stream, which will be included in the description. So if you want to follow along what we discuss and go and see in the actual meeting, it's good to sort of, see for yourself, especially if you have your own thoughts. So at 10 minutes and 53.
We also have there's also in the below the video, you can actually see a link to where you can actually access more information from the City of Monrovia's website, because as we're going to talk about tonight, there's some budget reports and stuff that were given by staff. And while we're not going to go into a whole bunch of detail in those slides are available to the public and you can check those things out too.
Yes. And that's always good, is that they're all like very easy downloadable PDFs. I'm gonna be honest, I can access most of the stuff just from my smartphone.
Yeah, it's super easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So 10 minutes, 50 seconds in, we get into proclamations as our order of business. Returning, we have Pasadena Humane Society and their pet of the month. They had Girly Pop. She is a lab pit mix who is 4 years old, hoping to be adopted soon. And they were highlighting their field trip program, in which people who are interested in adopting pets can come and walk the dogs, which is good because it takes that pet out into the public and gets visibility.
Yeah, it's actually a great program. It's a newer program that the Pasadena Humane has done, where they you can kind of sign up. They said like at least a month or up to a month ahead of time, and you can even actually, with some dogs, take them overnight. And it's actually resulted in a whole bunch of new adoptions. Yeah. Which I guess is the goal, right? And find homes for them.
Yeah, like a trial run.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
The next order of business was
you know what else they talked about? They talked about the kitten.
I did have that, yeah.
So March 14th from 11 to 2 at Pasadena Humane, they're going to have like a kitten event.
Seasonally, you're always anticipating like batches of kittens.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of like raising awareness, like, hey, we're going to get a huge litter of kittens soon.
There's always a need. There's always a need to adopt kittens. There's a lot of cats that are dropped off, or kittens that are dropped off, or there are kittens that are birthed there that need to find homes. So March 14th, 11 to 2. Look into that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I would always encourage getting a kitty.
Yep.
They also proclaimed February 19th, 2026 as World Cholangiocarcinoma Day, and February 2026, the whole month, as Cholangiocarcinoma Awareness Month. As you can tell, carcinoma being about cancer. And this is a rare form of cancer that manifests, at least medically, not medically, visibly, in its later stages, which makes it particularly dangerous.
Yeah, it's a bile duct cancer. And they don't show a lot of, there's not a lot of symptoms. And so a lot of times when it's found out it's when it's spread. And we had somebody there that was Wendy, right?
Wendy. Yes.
Wendy was there to receive the proclamation for February. She herself is dealing with that bile duct cancer. But wow, she had a real positive attitude, and I guess that's what you really want to have.
Yeah. It's definitely fair. And she was like, there's hope, in spreading this awareness that, there's definitely treatment available. Yeah, for sure. The next order of business was the recognition of our now former Community Services Director Tina Cherry.
In fact, like right now, we're taping at
Literally
5.
right now.
we're taping at 5 p.m. on Thursday, and right now at the community center, they're celebrating Tina, her 12 years that she has given to the city of Monrovia, as well as more than 30 years of community service in her field. And I tell you, wherever I am, Tina was always there and always willing to help, and so she got a lot of praise and support from everyone.
Lots of praise for the joy and the energy that she brings. Like, and I mean, a lot of Monrovians know her as like she's hosted a lot of the parade.
Oh gosh,
stuff, and she's just got that energy, and she's great. She's done a lot of good work.
I mean, what she's done for our library programs, our recreation programs. Who was it? I forget who said. I think it was Mr. Feek that said she has a give a damn factor.
Yeah, the give a damn factor.
Yeah, which I thought was great. So it was a really nice tribute to Tina.
Yeah,
and an introduction to
Reba.
And as our new. I mean, she's been around. She's been around for a long time.
Yeah,
she's worked with Tina for years and had some beautiful things to say about her, and was looking forward to the responsibility. Her family was there, and so the newly accepted community service director. So congratulations, Rebecca.
Congratulations, yes.
Yeah.
After that, they introduced the current cabinet or club presidents of the Senior Club of Monrovia, which I believe they are sort of the board that oversees the various senior classes and activities and organizations. And Tiffany Peterson came to introduce who they were and where they're at, and they got to take a photo with the city council.
Yeah, and for those of you who aren't aware, I mean, right now they have, there's like 150 active seniors in our communities that are participating in the senior activities. Mm-hmm. There's so many different things going on. If you get our community rec guide, and they talk about all the different activities that are available. Yeah. I mean, it's food, it's activities, and if you're a senior, actually, I think it's if you're over 50, you can actually participate in these activities, and it's just so many different things to keep everybody active and keep people involved in the community. And it was just a great showing of a lot of people there that are willing to stand up and show up
and be involved.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. We did not have a student government liaison report that night. So then the council moved into our consent calendar actions, which are just standard order of business motions that are adopted like in bulk, right? Yep. You've explained on this show many times, consent calendar is just a bunch of stuff that's scheduled.
Yeah.
And it's not to be done in a shady or weird way. In fact, like we were saying, you can pull up all of these documents and ordinances on your phone and see exactly what gets passed.
Yeah, it's the everyday business workings of the city.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So they didn't pull anything for discussion. They just approved it with a motion and a second. We are now moving into 55 minutes on this live stream, and we got to our public input section, which is where your voice can be heard if you actually attend the city council meeting, or I believe you can Zoom in as well.
You can phone or Zoom in. There's all instructions are always printed through the city clerk. You can contact Alice Atkins, our city clerk, and share any information. You can also email, and the emails will be shared, not read, but shared with the with all of the council members on there.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily a talkback. It is a chance for the council and staff to hear you. You are not guaranteed a response.
In fact, most of the time they can't respond. Right. Sometimes the city manager will give an update, but not respond directly to those things.
Yeah. So first up was our hostess with the mostest, Chris Lose. He showed up to talk about March 15th, 2026.
Put it on your calendar.
Yes, put it on your calendar right now.
House party
at the park from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. at Library Park, Monrovia, California. Good music, good vibes. It was started out as a way for alumni, MHS alumni, to reconnect, and it kind of just expanded into this like big community gathering. This is now the third year in a row doing this. And each year we pass out the M-Town Awards, in which the community fills out a poll and they nominate particular people that they're like, you know what, this person was outstanding in this regard. And yeah, it's really, really cool. Definitely don't miss it. And it's a good chance to connect with us as well and talk about a way that maybe you could get involved in this show as well.
So there'll be lots of different people there, music, food, just connecting, the awards. Bring your lawn chairs and your blankets, and bring the kids and play around in the library park. It's in the back where the clamshell is. So it's where they host it. Again, that's March 15th from 1 to 5. It's just open to the public. You don't have to be a Monrovian. It's
no fee. It's free. Come hang out.
Yeah, it's a great time. Yeah. To get more information about that, you can go to communityreimagined.org. And that's Chris Lose's community organization. And, they're working really hard to not just support the community with the house party, but a lot of different ways. So, so that's a good thing.
Next was Sherry Laudner and Marta Mack returning to discuss the topic of ICE raids that have been occurring in our community and the country at large, and the connection between the two, bringing it to the attention of our city council and our city government. A great quote that was brought, this is a quote and of a quote brought from Pablo Alvarado, the co-executive director of NDLON, National Day Laborers Organization Network. We should all be worried about state-sanctioned violence. And it's just very important that people keep showing up and keep talking about it and keep bringing awareness about it. So yeah, they came to discuss that. And then next was Adriana from the Assembly Member's Office, wanting to thank Dr. Kelly in her role for this past, year and a half or so? Yeah, just over a year. Each year the city chooses one member of city council to be the mayor pro tem. We have an elected mayor position. And then we have the elected city council positions, and they developed a new protocol. And so the new protocol designed based upon city council seniority, they kind of pass the torch for the city council member to then become the mayor pro tem. So that would step into the mayoral duties if the mayor was not able to do that. And DTK, or Dr. Tamara Kelly, finished and was recognized by the congressman's office, but also was recognized by the whole staff, staff and the whole city council. And she's been very involved here at the studio as well as the liaison. And we love her. She's a very, very good person.
We do. Yep.
All right. And with that, public comment was closed, and an hour and 6 minutes into our stream, we get into the reports of city staff and city council members. I don't believe that the city management had a whole lot to say this.
Yeah, I can just you want me to just kind of go through?
Sure, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'll do that. So our city manager, Dylan Feek, you can actually see this. He's got a city manager, city council's directives on different things that he works on. And the city council just had a closed session in which they kind of created more directives that will soon be added to that. He did respond to a couple of things and saying that the city is, in response to Sherry's comments about trying to get more information upon the death of Carlos Valdez, and the city is still reaching out to the CHP to get more info. Actually, they reached out to both the state and the federal government as well to see, and they haven't heard anything back. So just a quick update from Dylan, and then we went into the rest of the city council's updates. And I'm just going to kind of lump them into bigger things because they just actually attended the League of California Cities, where all the different city councils and town councils from across the state kind of come together just to kind of get, share ideas and have different conferences and groups and that they belong with. Sergio really kind of kicked it off by really talking about how important it is to really work together and to support one another.
Yeah.
They attended different commissions on housing and transportation and the Olympics and all these different things. And, some of the things that Sergio wanted to highlight was we're here at KGEM. And KGEM was nominated.
I wanted to shout that out.
Was nominated for 8
nominations at the WAVE Awards.
Yeah.
And 2 of those nominations went to one particular video that they had made last year. Yeah, it was last year, which was the Eaton Fire Carathon. We had shot a telethon prior, and we want to start experimenting with that format, just that sort of production. So I remember after the fire, there was that conversation of, we got to do this.
Yeah.
Like, this has got to be like a really important thing for the community to come together and basically be a hub of information, almost like the idea of this, right?
Right.
And I think that is so vindicating to hear, because the WAVE Awards is like a big deal to get best of show,
best in show and best live format.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, which
congratulations,
is
KGEM.
So.
Our little KGEM that could.
Mm-hmm.
He also talked about the state of the city. So last week, 2 weeks ago, there was a state of the city in which the annual, kind of like a State of the Union or a State of the State, where everybody kind of comes together and each of the council members kind of report out upon what's been happening. It was just really successful. It's usually held at our local theaters on Myrtle, but the Look Theater is closed. Thanks to our fast-working, city and people in the office, we were able to move it to the high school. I attended. It was great.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was really nice to hear all these different things.
That's good.
The parks, the opening of the new parks, our job centers. I mean, really talking about, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, is that the strong financial place that the city of Monrovia is in. And this is something that each of the council members talked about with that League of the California Cities, is that, there's a lot of cities that are in a lot of financial troubles right now.
Yes.
And because of some really, really smart financing decisions by the city, the staff, the council, and everyone involved, is that we have an A++
credit score
rating. And so we're in a good place where we are right now. And I guess we'll get into that a little bit more. Dr. Tamala Kelly talked about, really talking about some priorities of affordability, housing affordability, housing supply. They also, many of them attended the San Gabriel Valley COG, which is COG is an acronym for the Council of Government. So it's everyone in San Gabriel Valley that kind of comes together on a regular basis and talks about what's happening. The COG itself is working really hard with the Olympic Committee for 28 to ensure that we can work together to draw people to our city, whether it's for hotels, for events, for getting athletes from other countries to come here. And Dr. Kelly has been working really hard to do that, and it's kind of continuing. She talked about we're celebrating Black History Month right now, and on February 24th from 2 to 4 at the library, there'll be some events that'll be celebrating Black History Month. Councilmember Larry Spicer talked about what he attended at the League of California Cities. He talked about our community services, our health fair for seniors that's happening on February 27th. And then the Monrovia Duarte Black Alumni Association is also celebrating 100 years of faith that endures, and the churches that are present in our communities. He named a couple of different, I think it was 3 or 4 different churches, and that's going to be on February 22nd from 2 to 4. Councilmember Belden. Actually, a couple of people talked about the Chamber of Commerce gala that was
the awards gala
was just beautiful. Apparently, just very set in the 20s, and Was it the 20s?
It was a funny because our musical is kind of the same genre. It's the Step into the Spotlight.
Okay.
Where it's all like film, or like golden age Hollywood.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, it sounded like it was just really beautiful, and you attended. Thought it was that was great. But and then the mayor he, also reiterated a lot of things that people were talking about with the California Cities event. She talked a little bit more about the newly adopted protocol to determine who the mayor pro tem is going to be. And then there was a little bit of back and forth where we thanked Dr. Kelly for her service and welcomed our new pro tem mayor as of Tuesday night, Sergio Jimenez, saying that he's just a member of the team and is just going to make sure that the team still keeps working together.
Yeah.
Mayor Shevlin also talked about celebrating the new Lunar New Year with the Yang fire horse every 60 years. It was back in the 1960s that there was the Yang fire horse. So there's been different years of the horse, but this is the Yang fire horse. So if you think the yin and the yang, the yin is more kind of calm and the yang is impulsive. And so this is a year of maybe some exciting events that are going to be happening. So happy Lunar New Year to all. Mayor Shevlin also talked about that the Congress member Gil Cisneros are one of our local representatives, along with others that represent us. Was just really willing to listen to our community. Congressman Cisneros has always been available to our community.
Yeah.
And so it's nice that he's doing that. She talked about, hey, we're trying to get more people in here for the Olympics. And finally, she talked about One City, One Story, and that's a book
The Bear
project that is kind of going on in conjunction with Monrovia Reads.
Yes.
And that's going to be this Saturday, I think, at Library Park from 9 to 10.
Yes.
So that was good. Mm-hmm. So I think that kind of covers.
Yeah, that was the Bear's going to be interesting. It's basically like the whole city, including students, are all reading the same book at the same time, and it's all going to culminate now. Yep. After our city council and staff reports, we moved into our administration reports. Where things that are brought to the city council for them to vote on or just read through, that's usually toward the end of meetings. At an hour and 37 minutes in, they brought forth AR-1, Amendment to Monrovia Municipal Code, Section 2.12.30, related to city council compensation pursuant to SB 32.9. So this has to do with the compensation that council members get, which I think a year or so ago, there was like a cap, and now this cap has been kind of moved a bit, and now they're kind of discussing what that looks like. This was the first reading of this. So what the council voted on Tuesday was to keep looking into this, essentially, to have further reading.
It'll be voted on officially next I think next council meeting or next month. Actually, I think it's March that they're going to be doing it. And so basically, the idea behind this is that there are some state regulations that allow for only a certain amount of money that city council members and that can receive per month. And currently, right now, they receive $1,275 per month. This new ordinance would increase it to $1,359. It can only be, I believe, about 5% annually. Mm-hmm. This is being voted by the current city council. It is really nominal compensation for the amount of time that they put in. It's.
I agree.
It's a no-brainer.
I agree.
It's a no-brainer for me. But what's also important is that even though they're voting on this as a council, that those compensation factors will not change until the new council is set starting in November. Right. So unless if they're reelected, if they run and they're reelected, then they can benefit from that. But, and then also same thing goes. That was it. So they just did a reading of it, and then there'll be a further vote on it at a future city council meeting.
Yep. Next was AR2, and this is more discussion about our fiscal year, our 25 to 26 fiscal year budget update, schedules of fees, charges updates. This is any time that they just bring stuff to the council and say, this is kind of where we stand. You know, it's a lot of complicated stuff, the slides and stuff like that, but it's good news in general.
Yeah.
What I gathered.
Yeah. So what they did is they kind of looked back at the previous year and kind of take a look at what the budget was, what the expenditures was, and then how the books kind of ended up. Again, you can go to the city council agenda or go to the city's website and get all that information. You have access to those slides, and did a really nice job in kind of just laying out what that looked like. And kind of the summary, if you will, was overall the city of Monrovia is stable financially.
Yes.
And that is a really, really good thing. Last year we were under our budgeted constraints, and there was a $2.6 million surplus.
Right.
The revenues are stable, the expenditures are stable, and even in quarter 2, there was a $1.6 million surplus. And they talked about Measure K. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Measure K is a sales tax that occurs in the city of Monrovia, and an additional sales tax that's on top of that. And all that money comes back to our community, which goes to fixing our roads, developing our parks. If you've driven down Mountain in the last couple of months, that's where your money's at work. You'll see how nice that. It took a little while to get it all fixed and nice stuff, but it's really, really beautiful. I drive it every single day. So that's really nice. Our new parks. We talked about some fee changes for park use, trying to get fees waived for use of a rental space of our parks for our city residents. Right. Which is actually really nice. Talked about the 38 different capital improvement projects that are happening around the city. And I guess kind of the overall was that for the whole previous year, the 24-25 year, $1.76 million better than the budget. So I'd say that's pretty good.
That's not bad.
And listening to, I remember talking to Dr. Kelly at the State of the City, and she was saying, just getting back from this League of California Cities, and there's so many cities that are just in the red and that can't do things. And so, we're really fortunate. We've got a really, really wise city manager, staff, and council that is conservative, but also puts the money where the community needs it.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And with that, there was nothing else to discuss, and they adjourned. So 2 hours and 2 minutes is the length of that. If you want to go watch that on your own, or listen to this, where we just kind of blew through it in something like 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
It was adjourned in the memory of Romana Rednick, a Monrovia resident, and the next meeting is scheduled for March 3rd at 7:30 p.m. in council chambers.
Yep. Cool. Yeah. Again, this show is not a closed session. It isn't. Yes. It is open to any of you that wish to join us. And if you have thoughts when you watch this, or things that you want clarification on, we are not experts. We get stuff wrong, but we learn together.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this show, I think, really special. So with that, thank you very much for watching this week's episode of City Council Recap, and we will check you out. We'll
see you in March.
Yes.